Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Now, here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Friday to you. Final day of the work week. You got Boise State basketball tomorrow to look forward to, and we're here to talk about it on Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News social media channels, and, of course, BroncoNationNews.com. Make sure you go subscribe to that YouTube channel. We're about 26 away, I think, Jay, from pushing across 2,000, so KTVB, we're coming for you here at Bronco Nation News. So go subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, it takes about 3 seconds. Just hit subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, we cannot take your comments. Facebook, we can, but we prefer you all go over to YouTube and hit subscribe there. Help us get to 2,000 here. Tell your friends. We'd love to get there by tip-off tomorrow if we can. So, Jay, it's Friday, and we got a lot going on. I know there's probably a lot of high school basketball games tonight. We got Boise State tomorrow. You got any Mountain West Boise State sickos that want to preview the Air Force game Tuesday can watch Air Force in New Mexico tonight at 8 p.m. So you got Mountain West hoops on tonight and Boise State back in action tomorrow. What's up, man?
Good, man. Happy Friday. Back-to-back home games for the Boise State basketball team.
Oh, my God. As someone that, as someone that travels to these games, I can't tell you how nice it has been to not be leaving right away, because next week we go to Air Force and I come back for like 17 hours and turn around and go right back to San Diego. I should have just gone straight there, but there's a thing called kids and a wife and wanting to have the key work when I get back. So those 17 hours are pretty important, but I'm right there with you, man. It is so nice to have 2 home games in a row for once. This week it's big.
Yeah. It's a busy couple days over at Extra Mile Arena. I was at the women's game last night.
Yeah.
Saw your boy Colin there.
I think you two were the only 2 media members in Boise that were there covering it, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they won. It was
26 turnovers they overcame, right?
Yeah, they got it done somehow though, so that's good for them. But yeah, then a doubleheader Saturday.
Hold on. Yeah, I was gonna. Okay, there you go. You almost skipped over tonight's event.
No, gymnastics tonight. And then the Boise State women's basketball team has a Monday game too. Like it's busy few days over at Extra Mile Arena.
Yeah, we have a feature right now up on the website that Brandon Walton wrote about a senior walk-on of the gymnastics team. So go check that out, BroncoNationNews.com, and they are in action tonight. And Colin Mitchell, maybe you'll see you back over there tonight, Jay. Colin will be there again tonight covering the gymnastics meeting. As you said, 2 o'clock tomorrow, the women play again, and then 6 o'clock the men. I'm actually going to go over at 2 o'clock and check out the women's game tomorrow and cover that before the men's game. So it'll be a nice long day at Extra Mile Arena tomorrow. But you're right, it is a very busy day, but they're a busy weekend. And yeah, Monday they had 3 games in 5 days for the women's team all at home. That's a very unique schedule. They had a game canceled, I think, because of COVID or travel issues or something with that Southwest travel issue a couple weeks ago. So I think that's the game Monday, right? San Diego State's getting made up. But a lot going on. And it is a doubleheader, but I think the tickets do not count. I think you have to head out and buy a new ticket to get into the men's game. So head over to the James or something for an hour and come back. That probably makes some sense.
Yeah, I mean, a fun whole afternoon, though, at Extra Mile Arena. So
yeah. Early happy birthday to my wife tomorrow too. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday, so she'll be.
Happy birthday, Karen!
Yeah, I think they're gonna come to the game tomorrow too. We'll try to see if we can buy some tickets. I was actually looking online, Jay, and looks like pretty good attendance for the game tomorrow. I was trying to buy 3 seats together for my wife and kids, and there weren't a ton of great options. So I think that's a good sign that it could be a nice crowd tomorrow. And I think that the weekend games, for whatever reason, have been drawn better than the weeknight games, and so
and it's a 6 o'clock 6 o'clock Saturday tip off. That seems pretty favorable for if you're a family person. Didn't we have a 4 o'clock tip off?
The Utah State game was either 4 or 4:30, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of like perfect, I would say.
They had 12,000 for that one.
Yeah, that was perfect. But yeah, men's basketball team back in action, BJ, and man, we are about ready to flip the calendar here in a couple days to February, and it is, as Leon Rice said, we are about to hit the fourth and final lap of the regular season in the college basketball world.
By the way, I don't really understand. He always says this analogy where the third one's the hardest, and then the fourth one gets easy. The fourth one never gets easy for me. It's every lap progressively gets worse. Yeah, I know you get this. He says you get your second win for the fourth lap and all this. I'm like, not when I run, man. The fourth one's always harder for me. So,
well, no offense, BJ, but Leon's coaching a different caliber of athlete than you.
Hey, since January 2nd, I'm down 14 pounds. So
let's go.
I got a little dry erase board. I'm not going to say where I started at or what I'm at, but I got a ways to go. But I'm on track. So
this is why I like basketball season. I've started to like. I've always liked it, but why I've started to like it even more. Basketball season's busy, but it's not as busy as football, and you actually get to have a little bit of work-life balance.
Yes, I've actually had time to go to the gym
or something.
Yeah, this week's been interesting with all the football interviews that we've done. But it is nice. After the show, I think basketball's at 1 for the interviews today, so we might get a chance to sneak out to the gym this morning here. So are you a sauna guy at all, Jay? You like to sit in there, and you seem like a guy that would go in there. And
I'm not, but okay. I have actually started to. It actually is a little appealing to me because I hear that there are some really good effects you get from sitting in a sauna. So
yes.
Maybe I need to be a little bit
I love the sauna at the end of the workout. You get your workout in, and then it's kind of like bonus. I know it's mostly water, whatever, but it's like bonus sweating. And I'm the guy that goes in like full hoodie, just sweat as much as I can for an extra 20 minutes and get out of there. And it helps your skin. There's all kinds of benefits from it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I've noticed out of everying, your skin's looking better these days.
I appreciate that, man. I also cut my hair. So whenever I cut my hair, it makes me look a little thinner. It does. By the way, we had the last show, we had 2 people sign up during the show. And I said during the last post game, and I said I would send them a t-shirt. So the t-shirts are right here. And they get a t-shirt and 2 koozies, which I'm sure are big too. But those are going out in the mail today. So I've got them set to take them to the post office. So if you were one of our 2, and I'm sorry I forget your names. Oh, I've got them right here. I think it's Dan Baldwin, and then I forget the other gentleman. But your prizes are going out today. So thank you for signing up for your subscription. So Colorado State, and I guess we'll briefly look back, but look ahead. Jay, we were talking about it with Prater yesterday, and I had Matt Bauscher on Wednesday, but it's not always going to be pretty. Sometimes you got to just win the game and move on, and I guess that's where we're at, where a 10-point win is considered a really sloppy, ugly, horrible game, but a 10-point win is better than a nice-looking 1-point loss, and so they got the win against Fresno State, moved on to the next one, and you kind of survive in advance. I guess these next 2 games are going to be a little similar, Colorado State and Air Force, but it would be nice for the computer metrics if they just blasted them by 20 tomorrow.
Yeah. Just to talk about the game that just happened, because I do want to talk about that for a second. If you go back and you look, the first half was awful. It was god awful. It was not good. 15 turnovers and a half. I think Max had 5 himself in the first half. He ended up with 7. Just to show you how rare it is for Max to have a turnover laden game like that. He had 7 turnovers, right? His previous career high was 4, which he's only done once, and he's had a few 3 turnover games. So he turned the ball over almost twice as much as he ever has in a game before. And on top of that, I went back and looked at it too. He had more turnovers against Fresno State than he did in the previous 178 minutes and 38 seconds combined. So, I mean, like, it was a really just a clunker of a game for Max when it came to taking care of the basketball. But I'm not going to sit here and just bash on him too, because I want to point out that Max is having an incredibly efficient season shooting the basketball. Before I talk about that though, I wanted to address, like, Boise State did have a much better second half, and I know you kind of look up at the scoreboard and you're like, man, they won by 10. That's cool. You probably hoped for a little bit more, but the second half they put 40 on a Fresno State team that plays a really slow, deliberate style of basketball. Boise State averaged over 1.2 points per possession in the second half. That's really, really, really good. And, we were sitting at the scorer's table talking about it at halftime, BJ, and we were looking at that number, and it was like 0.7 for the first half. That's the exact opposite of very, very, very good. So anything around one, you're probably satisfied with. So as awful as the first half was, Boise State really bounced back and did some nice things that were more like them in the second half, especially on offense. And when it comes to defense, BJ, to turn the ball over 15 times in 20 minutes and only give up 25 points,
yes,
that's pretty darn impressive. And I know the Fresno State missed some shots, but I would assume we're not in the game planning meetings, obviously. Fresno State's by far the worst shooting team in the conference. Like, look it up. It's not even close. So to dare them to shoot 25 threes and only have them make 2, I'm assuming that's probably part of the game plan.
Now, the Matt Norlander, Gary Parrish podcast that I listened to, which, by the way, they gave a lot of love to the Mountain West this week. Go listen to that and check it out. But they do a thing called Trivia Time, where they'll have a guy that has a trivia question for the other host. And I got a trivia question for you, man.
Ooh.
7 turnovers for Max Rice. Okay? Tied for the third most. There's one other player that had the same number twice, 8. But do you know of the Leon Rice era? Max Rice tied 7 turnovers, ties for the second. It's either, I guess, third most, because the one player did it twice at 8, and then he's at 7, tied with a group. But do you know in the Leon Rice era, 8 turnovers? Most turnovers by a player in the Leon Rice era is 8. He did it twice. Any guess as to who it might be? And folks in the chat, while Jay's thinking, if you want to throw in your answer there, 8 turnovers, did it twice in the Leon Rice era, and then you have Max Rice at 7, tied with a bunch of guys. What do you got for a guess here, Jay?
Was he arguably one of the best players in program history?
Yes.
Chandler Hutchison.
Yes. Yep. He had 8 in 2017 against Portland, and then same season in 2018 at Washington in the NIT game. He had 8 as well. And then he also had 7 twice in a game, tying with Max Rice. Derek Marks also had 7 turnovers in a game 3 times. Surprisingly, the most Derek Alston ever had in a game was 6. But do you know in the last, this thing goes back, well, what was Leon's first year? It was 11. Was
2010-11. 2010-11 season.
Oh, then I'm off by 1. There's a guy with 9. I forgot that was his first year. I forgot about that. Lashard Anderson. Lashard Anderson had 9 in 2010. So I forgot that was his first year. So yeah, Lashard Anderson 9, Chandler Hutchison 8 twice, and then the point being 7 turnovers in a game for one player under Leon Rice doesn't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, and
neither does 15. And as somebody points out, it was 12 in the first 12 minutes. I mean, there was one point where they had like 6 missed shots, 6 turnovers, and 2 points. And but they got it done. And when you put it all together, it ended up being a win that was right there, and they had a chance. And I wish I could talk to the 2 or 3 students in the front row of the student section that I know had money on the spread, because when that bucket scored to go to 10. They were both like super depressed. I was looking at them, and then when Max Rice is dribbling the ball with like 15 seconds left, they're like, go, gotta score. And then once they backed down, they both kind of put their hands in their heads. And I hope that wasn't their tuition money they had on the line, but there was certainly a couple of guys in the student section that may have been on the -12.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I even saw it 11.5 at one point. So that had to have been heartbreaking. That last layup that was just kind of meaningless for Fresno State. I really, honestly, BJ, though, like I really do. I'm probably kind of encouraged, actually, from the Fresno State game, because that was a Fresno State team that, in all honesty, I don't think they're very good, but they show that they can beat anybody on any given night. They beat New Mexico.
Yep.
And New Mexico's really good this year. And so the fact that you can probably play, what would you grade that? Like, I know the second half was much better, but I like overall, seeing how this team has been playing, that might have been like a C-, D+ game.
So I was going to go C or C+ because you still won by almost what the spread was at home.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, probably how like they view it. Like, I just,
it was a C- probably, yeah.
Yeah, and so the fact that they can play that type of game and still get a 10-point win, I think it shows you this team's kind of tough. Not even kind of tough, really tough. They have some resiliency to them. They can go into the locker room, not let their emotions get the best of them. They can go into the locker room, be productive, come back out on the floor, and correct whatever they need to do, and at least bandage it together to go win a basketball game. And so in Mountain West play, man, like in the NCAA tournament, at the Mountain West tournament, you have to play well. Like they're not really. If you are absolutely playing with fire if you don't bring your A game in those games. But for the Mountain West regular season, like it's unrealistic to think that you can actually have your A game. You're not going to turn the ball over. You're going to shoot it efficiently. You're going to get to the free throw line. You're going to stay out of trouble. It's unrealistic to think you're going to have your A game every single night. So the fact that you can go in and win a basketball game when you play far from your A game, I think it's a very encouraging sign for this basketball team.
Hey, if you're looking for a weekend beverage, look no further than Cutwater Spirits. More than 30 flavors of premixed premium cocktails are the sponsors of our studios here. Bronco Nation News. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Premixed premium cocktails. You will not be disappointed. Rowpaint.com still has that 15% offer going. 15% off the interior painting of your home. Just use the promo code BNN15 when you're looking for that price quote at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, one of our great sponsors, the sponsor of our pre- and post-game show. They're paying top dollar for used cars and trucks, even if you don't buy from them. How about that? It's all done in 3 easy steps. You can share your vehicle information, make an appointment, get a cash offer from the appraiser while you wait. It's hassle-free on the spot at Lithia Ford of Boise. Had a friend of mine, Jake Forsyth, tell me yesterday or day before that he started a new Idaho Central Credit Union business account for his business because of what they're doing with Bronco Nation News. So lots of folks are making the switch, and they're happy. ICCU.com. Great supporters of local athletics. You see them on a lot of the high school scoreboards and things around the area. So Idaho Central Credit Union, they're investing in Bronco Nation News, and hopefully you'll return the favor and sign up with them. And if you're looking for a job, how about TCS, transcomservice.com? They can help you every step of the way to get to the permits and things you need to get out there and get into the trucking industry as a truck driver. Whether the big rig on your screen or the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, everything in between, you need permits and things, or you're not going to get it done. You're going to fail and flame out. So let the professionals handle it, and they'll get you out there towing that first load in no time. Get more information, transcomservice.com. There was a comment here, Jay. Why do the stats show 19 turnovers, yet if you add up the individual stats, it only equals 18? Where or who did the other turnover come from? Do you remember that? Oh, you're muted, Jay.
There is such thing as a team turnover.
Yes.
And so there are certain websites out there, like there's also team rebounds too, right? So like if you go to like a Basketball Reference or something like that, for whatever reason,
team rebound is on a free throw if it goes out of bounds, if it's like tipped out of bounds or something, but you keep possession. Yeah.
Right. So it's something like that. It doesn't actually attribute to the team stat. And that's kind of a little frustrating thing. And if you're not careful, you can overlook that when you're trying to find different stats over time. It's not perfect, even if you do remember that, but that would be the reason why.
That's very observant by Patsy and Peter Olson. So pretty nice.
Yeah, seriously.
And sorry that we don't have a perfect answer for you, but there was some weird play. I don't remember.
I was actually surprised, by the way, BJ. I went back. I was like, man, what's Boise State's record in the Leon Rice era when they have, I can't remember if I put in 18 or 19 turnovers. I was like, well, it's got to be awful.
That was tied for what, second or third most, I think, in the Leon Rice
era.
Yeah,
right? It doesn't happen very often. I'm going to let you know they've done it 8 times. They've eclipsed, I can't remember 18 or 19, but they've eclipsed that total 8 times in the Leon Rice era. Do you know what the record is?
Because I looked it up, I probably could tell you, and I'm going to look it up again while we're talking so we have the exact answer, but I'm going to guess it's better. I think it's better than you think. I remember a couple of them being wins.
It's way better than you think.
Yeah. 6-2?
6-2.
There you go. I did my homework, man. Once Leon Rice called me stat guy, I now have a reputation to live up to here, so I'm trying to I'm coming for you, man. But what was the number? 19? Over 19?
I believe 19 and above.
So let's check real quick. I remember, 22 was the record under Leon Rice in 2010, his first year against UNLV, and they only lost that game by 3.
Yeah,
on the road with. I guess it says neutral site. That's weird.
Mountain West tournament game.
It was 12:08. That's weird. I don't know. Were they not in the same league in 2010 as UNLV?
No, they weren't. Boise State wasn't in the Mountain West yet.
There you go. Then in against Tulsa, was it last year at home or the year before? They had Tulsa. They had 21, and then New Orleans in 2012 they had 20. Illinois State in 2017 they had 20, and then they had at San Jose State in 2020 they had 20 and still won that game. But yeah, pretty crazy. St. Bonaventure they had 19, and Oregon they had 19. But yeah, you're right. That's pretty crazy. 6-2. You wouldn't expect that.
Wouldn't expect it. One thing you can't expect is
someone says the shot clock violation was the team turnover. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, because usually if someone's dribbling the ball, they get credited with a turnover. I'm trying to remember if somebody shot it or what happened on the shot clock violation, but that could be it.
I don't know. In all honesty, maybe it was a loose ball.
Yeah. Did James good job there? I don't know. I can't say. You're probably right, but I don't remember the play exactly.
One thing you can't count on is some offensive efficiency out of Max Rice. I mean, we're getting to the point now where the sample size is big enough that I think we go ahead and invest. This is the player that Max Rice is. And, BJ, it's kind of funny. We looked at last year's Boise State basketball team. They're the Mountain West regular season champs. They're the Mountain West tournament champs. They went to the NCAA tournament.
School record 27 wins.
What didn't that team have? A first-team All-Mountain West player, right? They placed 2 guys on the second team. And it feels like this team, given their balance from the starting lineup, they darn well might be destined for that once again. If there is a player that's pushing for that first-team recognition, it really legitimately might be Max Rice at this moment. I was going back and looking at this, BJ, and there are only 7 players in the NCAA shooting 90% or better from the free throw line, 45% or better overall from the field, and 40% or better from 3, with at least 10 starts under their belt. Like, I had to set a cap at some type of body of work, right?
Okay.
And Max has started 20. Oh, started every game, so he's over 20 starts this season. There are only 7 players that are combining that efficiency together, right? Max Rice is one of them. I mean, he's having a really, really good season. Despite the 7 turnovers, he was 3 of 3 from 3 on Tuesday. The Broncos are now 12-1 on the season when Max makes multiple threes in a game, meaning they're just 4-4 when he makes one or none. So that shows you his value to the team. He's really taken a massive step this year, and if he hasn't been Boise State's most valuable player, he's in the discussion that he's. I mean,
was sitting next to a couple people at the New Mexico game. I think they were like ESPN Radio or some local sports talk guys in New Mexico, and wasn't really talking to them. I could overhear them during the game, and some of the kind of off balance, kind of in the paint. When Max Rice was posting guys up and banking in some of those shots, they were just they were in awe of some of the shots that he was throwing in there.
He did not have that in his arsenal last year.
Oh, no, he was a spot-up three-point shooter, and now he's gotten better defensively. He's stepped up his all-around game, and now, like, when they need a bucket, I mean, Max Rice is not afraid to, like, back a dude in and put up some crazy shot, and more times than not, it goes in.
Well, and I think that it's really helped his efficiency from 3, too, because if you close out on him, he'll pump fake and drive by you. But and now, like, if you're worried about that, so you give him a little space, like, he's going to make 44% of his threes on the season, or in Mountain West play, like in the month of January.
So effortless too. The way it doesn't look like he could probably shoot a regular 3 from half court. I mean, the way he just lets it just seems like he's throwing like playing beer pong or something with a little ping pong ball. I mean, it is pretty crazy.
In like the month of January, BJ, he's seriously shooting like 56% or maybe even a little higher than that from 3. It's been pretty incredible, which is one of the highest marks in the NCAA over that span. Another guy that
one thing first before you go on, for what it's worth on the all conference teams, Ken Pom puts together like a based on stats solely as the season goes, a projected Ken Pom all Ken Pom team, as I know you know, but the 5 he currently has that the computers say would be the first team all league players: Jalen House from New Mexico, EJ Harkless of UNLV, Marcus Shaver, Boise State, Keenan Blackshear from Nevada, and Amari Moore from San Jose State. I think
So
EJ
5 guards.
Yep, and EJ Harkless probably would be gone because of how bad UNLV is doing. And then Amari Moore, San Jose State's having a great year, but I don't know if you can put him on the first team either. Just it's kind of probably need to find somebody from San Diego State, you would think. But as you said last year, they didn't find anybody from Boise State, and they won the league. So, but interesting that he does have Shaver as basically ranked third of the all-conference players. And, he maybe isn't scoring quite as much in some of these games consistently. He's had some big scoring games, but he's doing a lot of other things as well. I don't know if he was the other player you were going to talk about or not.
You're exactly right, man. And I promise you, we didn't rehearse this before the show. We're just picking up what each other's putting down, I guess, here. He had 16 points against Fresno State. Now, that was his most since the Mountain West Conference opener. We had 22 at Nevada. Boise State now 17-4 all time when Shaver gets at least 16 in a game. I think the encouraging thing, though, BJ, was how Shaver was really able to get to the free throw line against Fresno State. When he gets to the free throw line 8 times in a game, Boise State's 11-2 all time. I think that it's also an easy way for him to take just to get some points. See the ball go in the bucket and going 8 of 8 at the free throw line. Maybe that helps spark, an efficient shooting effort against Colorado State on Saturday. Quietly, I would say somewhat quietly, because I don't think he gets enough recognition for his ability for his rebounding or the defense he plays for that matter. But he's the only player in the Mountain West Conference at the moment with over 200 points, over 100 rebounds, over 50 assists, and over 25 steals this season. I mean, he really impacts the game in a variety of ways. And, he's shooting 37.2% on the season. And the kindest of humans will say that that's not great, because it's not. But that if you try to define Marcus Shaver Jr.'s value by just saying he's shooting 37.2%, then you're missing the big picture here.
No doubt. He's a heck of a player, and he's told us he's battling the high ankle sprain. So we'll see if that continues to get better. But I think it had to if he played 38 minutes and 29 seconds in the Fresno State game. I think it has to be close to a season high in minutes for him. So I would assume that means he's on the right track. And Matt Boucher did bring up a great point that I wanted to, but we probably don't have time for, because I got a couple quick sponsors I got to thank. But he did talk about the bench. No points from the bench, but also the lack of production in the minutes. And he looked at the Mountain West tournament last year, where you potentially play 3 games in 3 days, and the bench was playing upwards of 50 minutes a game in the semifinals and finals. And so, I know it's different players coming off the bench, that kind of thing, but I'm not sure in a 3, it's sustainable right now, I guess, but I don't know in a 3-game tournament, if you can have no points and 19 minutes from your bench in the semifinals or finals.
And Leon admitted that he had a tough time kind of, getting the bench involved or finding a rhythm with his bench in that game, because it was so close and it was so awkward and they were turning the ball over. Like, ideally you go to your bench when
I hate to say it, but they're bench players for a reason. Like, your 5 starters are your 5 best players. Those are the ones you want in the game as much as possible.
Right. But when, that stuff's hitting the fan, you probably got to ride with your guys in the starting lineup, because you feel like it's your best chance to remove the stuff from the fan. So, they just had a tough time finding that rhythm. I will say this, though, BJ, and we have kind of talked about this, like when they could bring Naj off the bench, like you clearly see his value to the starting 5. And I will say it actually seems like Leon's kind of gotten Lucas Milner in games pretty early recently. But when you could bring Naj off the bench, you always had that threat of a bench player coming in, impacting the game with that 15-point performance. And right now, you just don't fear that from the bench, really. Like, somebody can do it, but I don't know if you really expect them to do it. And watching that San Diego State-Utah State game the other day, man, their bench absolutely exploded. I mean, in that contest, they put up 85 points. And, from their 3 guards, who are very, very good, they got 19 total points, and they shot 6 of 22 overall. Their bench was the exact opposite of that. The one guy gave him 25. Man. What's that?
Adam Seiko, man, 7 for 7 from 3.
Yep. Yeah, he was outstanding. So they get 45 points from their bench in an 85-point performance.
Yeah, who's coming off the bench for Boise State and going 7 of 7 from 3? Maybe Jace Whiting gets hot or something, but maybe Pavle. We haven't seen him in a while. That is still a ongoing concern, and I think that change. Najee Smith used to be that impact guy off the bench. But once they moved him into the
Max was that guy at times last year too.
Now they're in the starting lineup, which is great, but you're just not getting that instant offense or instant energy from a guy like Lucas Milner or Mo Silla or any of these guys. So I do want to spend 1 minute on the Colorado State game, but quickly want to thank our last set of sponsors here, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out, Boise Dentistry Co. Locations across the Treasure Valley, full family dentistry. I was there earlier this week, and I'm doing good. No cavities, no fillings, no nothing. So happy to report that and had a good time seeing Dr. Miner. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Looking for business insurance? They can write policies in 44 states around the country at United Commercial Insurance. They are looking to beef up their Treasure Valley accounts, so 229-8222. Check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Go download the Ridley's app, shopridleys.com. You can find a location near you, 13 locations in the state of Idaho. They got the new app, the Ridley's app. It's in on your phone app store. Go download it, and they got exclusive savings, whether you're going up to McCall or just in the area and you're at the CUNA or the Star locations. That you get exclusive savings if you download the Ridley's app. Get more information, shopridleys.com. The blueandorangestore.com is offering free shipping on any order over $40. That's right. Make an order of at least $40 online and get free shipping at the Blue and Orange Store. They have all the NIL shirts, Shaver, Degenhardt, all those guys, all the other coaches' sideline apparel as well. You can get them in the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall as well. Bauscher Real Estate, I mentioned Matt Bauscher, the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley yet again is Bauscher Real Estate. Check them out. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. They'd love to help you out. 243-8222, BauscherRealEstate.com. And, of course, Timberstone Golf Course. Told you about the lesson I had with Ted Holloway the other day. Highly recommend it. It's such an awesome process, and never thought my swing would be compared to Justin Thomas, Jay, but I was able to kind of see some of the things that he was doing, work on some of the things for my game. And it was a very, there's the photo. It was a very enjoyable experience working on my game there. And it's amazing in 1 hour long lesson when you're looking at the spin rate and the speed and the angle and the attack and all this stuff, what it can do for your game. So going back next week for another lesson, and I will finally be ready to beat Jay Tust on the golf course by the end of the summer. So you need to get out there with Tad, man.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to recover from your swing being compared to Justin Thomas.
Well, I mean, it's what not to do and what to do, basically. So, it's a very cool.
You see this orange little arrow coming off your ball. That's not the fairway, BJ.
No, it was going a little left on that one. Yeah. Yep. That was not, but it went 100. It was a 7-iron.
Technology though, like when I got fitted for clubs over at the Wide World of Golf or whatever, they have like this. I think it's called the Swingman, or I can't remember. Swing track. I can't remember. TrackMan. Thank you. Gosh. That thing is cool. You're exactly right. That's awesome technology to have. That's so cool.
Yep, and literally
like all these numbers across the bottom, like it's so funny because like you'll start to swing and you have no idea what half of them mean or like what's good, but there's certain like areas where when it comes to spin rate, like you want certain clubs to be in a certain window or whatever, and it's actually really fun to kind of learn about that. So that's cool.
In an hour long lesson, I picked up like 30 yards on my 7-iron because of a couple things that I changed. So we got a ways to go, but it's a nice start, and I recommend getting out there to Timberstone Golf Course and working with Tad. Final minute here, Jay. The game on tomorrow, Colorado State. They've had a bye week. Actually a unique scheduling quirk. Both times before Colorado State plays Boise State, they get their bye. So they'll have a week off before the game in Fort Collins in a couple weeks as well. But Colorado State, an interesting team. They got Isaiah Stevens back, got off to a really rough start. I mean, overall, they've lost 8 of their last, 7 of their last 9 games, but only lost by 1 to Wyoming, took San Diego State to overtime, lost in overtime to Air Force. So they've played some pretty close games of late. Did win at UNLV on that crazy overtime game that with the Stevens shot. Did beat Fresno State at home by 22. I think when we talked to Leon Rice today, he's going to say once again another team that's a lot better than their record shows. But some of the metrics do prove that. This will be a little bit of a sneaky game tomorrow, but one that Boise State needs to win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how often you've seen a sub 500 team. Colorado State's 10-11 overall. They're 2-6 in league play, in the top 120 of the net. I mean, that whatever's adding up there for them, I think truly does suggest that their record does not convey how good they are. And a big reason why this team scares you is because of Isaiah Stevens. He is one of the premier point guards in the Mountain West Conference. He is really, really, really good, and he makes people around him better. They're asking him to do an awful lot this year, especially without the presence of David Roddy. But Isaiah Stevens is a really, really good basketball player. And watching Stevens versus Shaver alone, probably worth the price of admission on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt.
And those guys you're going to look at two guys that for 35 to 37 minutes are probably going to be on the court together, battling each other. And it's probably going to be a really, really fun matchup to watch.
Looking forward to it. Don't have time to get into it because we're already over, but the metrics didn't help Boise State last night. Gitz Keaton says really needed that South Dakota State win. They fall to, I think, 170 or 169 in the net, so they're now 9 spots away still of keeping that as a quad 3 game. You had Utah Valley lose a tough one. You had Charlotte lose a tough one. They dropped down a little bit. Charlotte's an interesting one because they're at like 95 right now. And if they fall below 100, that's another quad 3 loss on the resume. So you really need Charlotte to stay in the top 100. You had Wazoo lose, but they hung tough. You had Colorado lose to Oregon. I believe Boise State opponents went 0-5. Not a great night last night, Jay. Not
a great night. If you're a Boise State fan, though, basically root for Texas A&M to win the SEC.
Yeah, they'll get at least one. And yes, Kelsey, go out and support the gymnastics team tonight, 7 o'clock, Extra Mile Arena. As we said, Bronco Nation News will be there covering it, and we'll put together a video package and a story. Colin Mitchell will be there. I'm sure Jay and the KTVB team will be getting some highlights as well on a busy night on the local sports scene. But, you got gymnastics tonight, 7 o'clock, and then they'll hurry and turn the arena around for basketball tomorrow, a doubleheader, the women at 2 o'clock, and then the men at 6 o'clock. So, Jay, appreciate it, man. We'll be seeing you around town down at BSU, and I know at 1 o'clock we'll be talking to Leon Rice and some players, and then you'll have that on the news tonight, and we'll have that up on the YouTube channel as well. So appreciate it as always, Jay. Appreciate it to all of our folks that commented on the ICCU YouTube chat. Have a great rest of your Friday. We'll be talking to you soon. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.